Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Remy from Rent Free Finance. And today we're going to go over the eighth wonder of the world. What is the eighth wonder of the world? Why do I need to know? Why are we on a finance channel? Aren't those just some random buildings across the world? Yes. I hear it all in all, but I'm saying it's the eighth wonder of the world because Albert Einstein once said that compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. Not a building, not the Taj Mahal, not any of them buildings. Compound interest. How true is that? I don't know. But today we're going to talk about compound interest and why that's important. This is the same as why do people invest? This is the same as why are interest rates so important? This is the same as why does... I don't freaking know. Why is interest rates that important? Why do people watch them so closely? Why do people invest in stock markets? This is pretty much going to answer all of those kind of questions for you. And this is also going to show you how these millionaires not only stay millionaires, but how they accrue their portfolio. This is what it looks like. It's not just saving it's not just saving money in a regular bank account. That's gone. That 0.01 doesn't even beat inflation, which is usually 3%. It doesn't even beat that. So in order to hedge and beat inflation, you need to know about compound interest. So people talk about inflation and how everything is so expensive. Well, it's because they don't have money to buy those things, obviously. And how do you prepare for something like this? With compound interest. So if you guys like the video, please subscribe. And I'm going to go into compound interest and how it works. All right, let's get it. So we're going to just take an example of $10,000 with a 5% interest rate. At year zero, it's $10,000. And then as we go into year one, that $10,000 earns $500 of interest, which equals $10,500. How did you get that? How did you get $10,500? Well, let me grab my marker. Okay, my markers want to be a pain in the butt today. Okay, got it. So we're going to start with 10,000. And we're going to times it by 0.05. Why do you times it by 0.05? Well, because it's a 5% interest rate. 5% is 0.05. Simple math.
Quick maths.
And that equals $500. Or, I don't know, another way to do math is $100 times 0.05. That equals $5. And then you just add a couple zeros to make it 10,000. Add a couple zeros. There you go, 500 for both. So that equals that $10,500. Capiche? Caposh. Then going into year two, that $10,500 makes you $525. And that equals $11,025. Why is that? Well, we're going to do the same thing. The principal is now $10,500, and you times it by the 0.05 to make it $525. And then if you do the quick maths, you add that $10,500 plus the 525, and that equals the $11,025. Man, I'm such a genius. Thank you, comments. I appreciate that. And I don't know why you're looking and laughing at me like that. You guys didn't know how to do that math. But anyways, man, I'm insulting my viewers as I'm doing a video. That is not going to give me subscribers, that's for sure. But what this will give you is financial advice, and that's what I'm here for. And then you can see it as it goes to year 5 and 10. How much this money really accrues. And by the end of year 10, you make $17,103.39. From that original $10,000, you made $7,103.39 of accrued interest. Just that $10,000 sitting in there. That doesn't even account for the added dollars. That doesn't even account for... And what I mean by added dollars is you're not just going to keep $10,000 in there. Obviously, you're going to want to save. You're going to want to put some money away. So yeah, you're not just going to save $10,000. You're going to probably put another $10,000 by the time you get into year 10. I mean, I don't know how your strategy is, but you're obviously going to keep adding money into this investment. So obviously this is going to grow exponentially. Also, varying interest rates. This is true. Sometimes the interest rates will be higher, sometimes they'll be lower. That just depends on the Fed and their decisions. So why do we talk about interest rates and how important they are? Well, if we're in a more inflationary period, the banks are going to hire and offer interest rates. Now that we're dropping interest rates, now, you could see that bank interest rates are not going to be as high. Like as of now, this video, we dropped the rate a couple times. Now all of a sudden your CD that was making 4.5% is now making, 3.5%, if even that. So that's why that stuff happens. And then income tax. Obviously, you get taxed. The government always wants a part of your money. So this is going to take some taxes off, only the interest you earn, not off your principal. So the $500 that you earn, well, it's going to take a certain percentage depending on your income. So that's what it doesn't account for. But let's just say you have a regular bank account. And instead of making that 5%, we're going to make 0.01 that usually all the other banks offer. 0.001. Not even 1%. Not even 1%. And that equates to $1. You're going to make $1 every year. Oh, okay, maybe you'll make a couple pennies because there'll be 10,001 times the 0.001. So you're not really going to be making any dollars. By the time you get to year 10, I'm not doing all the math in my head, but you're probably going to make, a good maybe $12, if that. So why would you keep your money in a regular bank account? It just doesn't really make sense. Unless you're a high wealthy individual who pays a lot in taxes, or, their income is just so high that they pay, let's say, a 40% tax. It makes no sense to be in a regular bank account. And I'm not a financial advisor and I'm not giving financial advice, but just compound interest is so much more than, it's just so much more than just keeping your regular money in a bank account. So why do people invest? Why do people go in the stock market? Why do people go to high yield savings account? It's because of this interest rate. If you put your money in the stock market, historically, it goes up 8% every year. So that's even more than what this is showing. So again, why would you keep your money in something like this? It just really doesn't make sense. But for that, you guys, I'm going to end the video here because I think you guys understand how important this is. This is how millionaires stay millionaires. This is how, how people make money. Yes, you can gamble and make all this money, but you're more likely to lose. The house always wins. So if you keep your money in a bank account like this, where you're going to get more interest and it's going to be higher than inflation, why wouldn't you do it? So that's all I have for you guys in this video. If you guys enjoyed this video like this, please subscribe. And I understand that, I post a channel. I post every morning, Monday through Friday. And the videos on the Thursday mornings when the big YouTube videos come out, they kind of recap what these are. But they're not as in-depth. They're not as much description as this. So if you need more help, stay on these videos. If you kind of understand and you get the groove of things, then watch just my shorts. Because they'll probably recap what you already know. Or maybe you'll get a thing or two out of it. And for the quote of the day, I didn't really have one this time, besides the Albert Einstein saying that compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. That's all I really have. And I think it's very important for you guys to understand and really apply this to yourself. This is the same as, let's say, your credit card debts or your loans, where it's accrued interest. It's almost the same principle, almost. So if your interest rate is 10%, that's higher than the stock market. There's no way you're going to make money back. You know, it's not a good debt to have. So that's all I have for you guys today. We'll get much more into debt and more of those topics later on. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. And if you enjoy it, please subscribe. And I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.